Joined by Clay Henry, publisher and editor of Hawgs Illustrated. Of course, you can read all of his stuff at wholehogsports.com as well. And gives us about half an hour of his time every Wednesday, and we always enjoy that. Clay, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good, good. You know a lot about War Memorial Stadium, and I think there's a lot of media members in Arkansas that know War Memorial Stadium, and I don't know if they know him quite as well as you do. And this isn't a question about great stadium debate or anything like that. Should they play there and all that kind of. I just want to know, like, first memory of War Memorial from you, and maybe one that really stands out.
Well, you have to go back to the part that I don't remember, which is where I lived when I was born. Right across the street from the stadium is a Wendy's, right?
Yes.
It's up the street just a little bit.
Eaten there a
downtown.
few times.
Yeah, so that lot was cleared, a little A-frame White House. That's where I lived when I was born.
You lived on site of that Wendy's that I used to sit inside. I used to wait in that drive-through at 1 in the morning after Travelers games, and that was probably your bedroom.
Well, I don't know, but I don't remember it. I think we moved from there when I was 2, moved to Meadowcliff, which is southwest part of town, and then when I was in the 3rd grade, moved to 18th and Fair Park, which is just down the road from the stadium, a little bit south. And you could walk to the stadium, you could walk to Ray Winder Field, all that was in the same area. Walk to the War Memorial Park golf courses, which is where I played golf a lot. And I have to admit this, number 16, our group, I played on the Little Rock Central High School team. We would play matches there on number 16 tee, which is right next to just up from the elevator of the press box, that tee box. We would take out, actually we did it on 15 green, which was a little bit higher. We'd take out some old golf balls and fire them into the stadium.
Nice.
Nobody would be in there.
Way to go. I was about to say we just ripped the Tennessee.
Yeah, but nobody
fans.
Was in there.
Good.
Nobody's
okay. Good.
In there. It'd be a Tuesday afternoon. You knew the place was empty, but you just fire them up. 8-iron, and so yeah, there's a lot of memories from that place, and one of my favorite ones, and I can't remember which game this was. One of the made-for-TV games, early season. When I think I was just barely 15. ABC, Coach Broyles was doing those games, playing Cal and Stanford and some others. And ABC would, came in and did nighttime television in Little Rock, primetime games. And ABC, Terry Jastro was the producer for ABC Sports. Pretty famous guy. I mean, Roone Arledge and Terry Jastro were pretty much the guys. And they would bring in their complete crew, and they would have 30 or 40 rental cars. And after the game, they would get a ride back to the airport and fly out. And I was hired to work for ABC that weekend. And at the end of the night, Terry Jastro came to me with a grocery sack full of rental car keys. And he says, "Get these back to the airport." Well, I didn't have a driver's license. I was 15. So, yeah. And then gave me $300. Now, can you imagine how much money that was back then?
Hey, man, I just bragged about selling parking spots to get $180 over 3 games. 300 is a lot.
Yeah. Just get these cars back. And he didn't really know me, whatever. He knew who my dad was. And so I went home, and the next morning, Sunday morning, my mother and I took, she said, "This is great. You got your learner's permit." And she said, and we drove back and forth from the airport, turning in all those rental cars, And I said, "Well, Mom, here's the money." And she goes, "Well, I think that'd go in your college fund." So. But yeah, so memories are, sometimes they're just a little different, right? Mm-hmm. What I have of growing up in that state, around that stadium. It's just part of me.
That's what I mean. Like, Drew, a lot of people mention the moments they had, and they're talking about, the Miracle on Markham, or, the Arkansas LSU game where it was 1 versus 3. They talk about the game or the tailgate or anything. So you got a guy like Clay who kind of knows the stadium from the inside out and the stories that go along with it. And that's one of the things I love when they play there.
Yeah, I think there was one time I got stuck and my car got stuck on the golf course, and I came into the office. It was way after the game. I think I may have been working at the Tulsa World at that time, and it's like I couldn't get my car out of the parking lot. It was wet. The parking lot was the golf course. Mm-hmm. And Howard Steelman, who's ran the stadium, I went into his office and I said, "Hey, my car's stuck. I can't get out. I'm going to need to get a record." And he goes, "Hey, call your dad. He's got a lot of pull around here." Just looked at him and said, "So you're the funny man." Yeah. So yeah, it's. He helped me. I should add that to the story. They got a record there and got me unstuck pretty quickly.
Those are some great memories and great stories there, Clay. But as far as this Saturday goes, and Sam Pittman has said it without saying it. Thank goodness we almost get 2 bye weeks here. Anything special? Anything that's really worth seeing this weekend against UAPB as far as adjustments go from Auburn?
Oh, I mean, I think the best thing that can happen is if you don't get anybody hurt. And I mean, I think that just goes without saying, right? But it will be a big thing is that you don't have, some more problems. Have a nice start, get some guys on the sideline.
That's the thing. It's like, how early will the starters be able to come out? And who's going to have a real tough time on Saturday? It's the play-by-play guys and the spotters. 'Cause we may end up going pretty far down the depth chart once you get into the third, fourth quarter.
You need to earn your pay every once in a while.
That's exactly right. Zim and I are going to be locked like a couple of octopuses in a wrestling match, pointing at all these guys. We really haven't had a chance to watch it all.
Are you going to get $300 for like I did in 1970 or whatever?
Well, it's for Zimmerman and I to split, and that'll be even a more interesting wrestling match than the Octopi. All right, stay tuned. More with Clay Henry after the break on halftime. We're only taking requests of our guests, so this is what Clay asked for.
Yeah, Troubadour. And just so you know, I don't feel like I'm 25 most of the time anymore.
It might have been a point you did that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, Monday is the best I can do for a day off, and I'll probably work a couple hours on a Monday. But I got up early, went down and fly fished in the Norfolk River, slid around on those slick rocks, wading. Probably waded about 1,000 yards up the river and back. And then I, worked and did some things. And then the afternoon I went to Big Creek and hit some golf balls. And it took me a good 20 minutes before I could hit my first practice balls. Stretching and, sliding around those rocks, that'll do things to your back.
Also your feet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
feet, ankles. My left knee, it's been, Mark Powell has fixed it a couple of times. He says, "Man, don't come back because the next time you're not going to like what I do." So it's just bone on bone. So, I mean, it's like, hey, if you want to be nice to your knees, don't go wade fishing, but I'm still going to go.
I have a feeling that is not the direction you're going to go.
Yeah, just a little Advil, and I'll just keep on keeping on.
All right, a couple things I wanted to hit on here. I wanted to talk about Sam Pittman's comments that he wants to get Dominique Johnson more carries. This is a really good group of running backs, but it's like one of those situations where the level of talent you have there is almost takes away from the position at times because, I mean, you see the direction I'm going here. They all run differently. They're all very talented, but it seems, you're not quite sure who to ride right now. And this isn't the first time Coach Pittman has mentioned that he'd like to see Johnson get more involved and in the running game especially. Here's great blocking. He looks like he can catch. What do you think it means if Dominique Johnson gets more carries? Well,
it's it's a tough deal because, like you said, it's you got other guys that if the first question out of the box would what do you think about Rocket Sanders? Well, he's going to respond, I'd like to get him more carries. And, if the first question out of the box is, hey, how's A.J. Green doing? Well, I'd like to get him more carries. So I think it's how the question's phrased depends on what the answer is. And I think you want to get all those guys more carries. That's the beauty of it. That, the competition, I always say, makes the world go round. If there's somebody else doing the same thing you're doing, you want to do better. I mean, if they don't feel that way, then you got the wrong guys. But at some point this year, you're going to get banged up in that room, and you're going to be glad to have every one of them. But it's with the RPO, the run pass option offense, sometimes it's hard to dictate who gets to carry. They're in there, and all at once they see something the quarterback does, and it's not a run, it's a pass. So a guy may have lost a carry or two because a play was called with his name on it, but it turned into something else. So I think it's, Dominique Johnson is going to, be a guy that continues to grow, continues to develop. He's such a wonderful blocker. It is easy to put him in the game as a young back, and that is rare. And he has the size as a young back, to take on, a defensive end in the SEC, which, I got to be honest, when Traylon Smith first started playing running back and he took on a defensive end, it didn't end well for Traylon. He's gotten better at that, but it's really a good player. And he's I'm probably not alone in saying this. He's a better player than I thought he was when I first saw him. And he continues to get better.
Yeah, hopefully, everybody in that running back room is bought in, because when you have this much talent and, kind of to borrow a phrase from basketball, there's only one ball and there's only just so many carries in a game. You hope everybody buys in. That way you don't have to worry about off-season transfers and trying to make, everybody happy and just kind of going along with their role. But one thing that we do know we're going to see this week, if everything goes towards goes to plan, and we don't have a barn burner, as Sam Pittman, I guess, misspoke earlier this week about, we're going to see a lot of Malik this week. And how much of the playbook, how much of his skill set are we going to see? Because if he's in, that means you're obviously up pretty big. You don't want to be throwing the ball all over the yard, having poor sportsmanship type of stuff. So how much of the playbook are we actually going to see him go through this week, do you think?
Yeah, I hate to go Roy Kent on you, but I don't know. I don't know. And what Roy said on Sky Sports, and not at practice, not sure how much of it he's grasped. I think probably more than what was earlier evident when he had a package, so to speak, for the Texas A&M game. The run-pass option is what he needs to polish up on, because it didn't look like that's what was going on against Texas A&M. That's the play. That's, I'm going to borrow a phrase from our friend Ty Richardson and say that's the run-pass option is what Kendall Browse, that's where he, has buttered his bread, right?
Yes.
But Ty was talking about his own bread and his own athletic career, right? I didn't know he had bread.
Ty's bread's, his dough's not done yet.
I think his bread is a wheat thin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hopefully this gets back.
Oh, it will. I'll make sure it does.
Yeah. His dough ain't done. Yeah. And I think to answer the question is, we'll see more from Malik than we've done. Seen previously, and he's growing. His play is those magical feet when he takes off, and I bet he does that against UAPB some. Speaking of magical feet, I want to see their band perform at halftime, and it's as much the reason. So, all right, here's the pop quiz. Do you know the name of the band? What they call themselves?
No. I forgot what they call the UAPB band calls themselves.
They're M4. They are the musical. Let's see if I get it right. The marching musical machine of the Mid-South, M4.
The marching musical machine of the Mid-South.
Always need a good marching
and
band
I think
name.
I think what they do is they turn the PA over to their band leader. I don't know if it's their director of bands, and he introduces them, and he adds another M, the magnificent marching musical machine of the Mid-South. But if you go to the website, it's just M4. And I love their sound. It is big, lots of tubas, and it is there's some magic in what they do.
Some high stepping.
Oh, it is great stuff. And I kind of feel sorry for the UA band. And all these SWAC teams, they got the bands, man, I'm telling you. And it just seems like there's a little bit of the Bourbon Street, those little bands that you see down there. There's a little bit of that in there, with those, that heavy brass tuba sound. Love
It's
it.
funny. I mean, you look at the betting line on the game, and it's Arkansas minus 51.5. I think if you were going to have a battle of the bands, the UAPB band would be favored by the same point spread.
Favored by, I don't know if you would call it touchdowns, but maybe, I don't know, 3 musical bars. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Clay, we only have about a minute or two left here, and I wanted to ask
I
about.
hijacked it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No worries.
It was all about the game. It's okay, but I want to ask about Arkansas defense. I wonder. I mean, injuries are a part of the sport, sure, and you're without Jalen Catalon for the rest of the year. We don't know the situation with Markel Utze, Dorian Gerald out for the year. All of this, are you seeing some signs that you saw last year as well from the defense? It's a defense that was really good for the first 4 or 5 weeks and then, kind of softened a little bit. Are you seeing any similarities there?
Yeah, you got to have some depth, and they don't have it yet. They've got more, but you really missed Ladarius Bishop. That's a guy you didn't mention, but he hasn't been consistent. He's given up some plays, but he's got the speed that you need at cornerback, and Kari Johnson, hasn't stepped up. Hudson Clark is, sometimes he gets targeted a little bit. Miles Slusher is supposed to be, a great player. He's been. See, that's the thing. Your backup was hurt, so you say, well, you lose Jalen Catalon. Well, let's go to Miles Slusher. Well, he's missed an awful lot of practice time, in-game time, because he's been hurt. So that's the nature of the game, and it's what separates the elite teams, and but that's where Arkansas has been for the last 10 years, is not having enough defensive players to make it through an SEC season. Now, they're going to get some guys back, but they're putting a lot of pressure on their linebackers, right?
Oh yeah, seems like it, and that's still a position where there just isn't a lot of depth, if any, right now. All right, Clay, we're up against it here. Always good talking with you. Have a great week and enjoy the Rock.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Clay.
Clay Henry, Hawgs Illustrated, and WholeHogSports.com. Get with us on halftime, 877-377-6963. I'm going to crumple up a little piece of the box score from last week after the break and change my mind when we come back.
We're back, and better than ever. A new web interface to start the basketball season, and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV 50 to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, and baseball postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.